Or we'll call the December 7th or September 17th meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Present.
Councilmember Silliman.
Here.
Councilmember Pinella.
Present.
Councilmember Lane.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson.
Here.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Here.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Present.
Councilmember Michaels.
Here. All rise and salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we move to privilege of the floor. We don't have any presentations. Danielle Wimbish.
Testing 1, 2. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm Danielle Wimbish. I live at 91 Greenbush Street. I do apologize. My allergies are kind of kicking in, so I'm a few times. And really do allergy season is here. Thank you all for your time. I do appreciate it. I do want to give everyone a heads up here on this council that I have sent an email as of Monday, September 9th at 10:35 a.m. regarding a formal complaint of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation that I'm experiencing at my home here in Portland. I also included the Fulton County DA's office, the City Police Commission, City Code Enforcement, as well as the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee of the county legislature, because I think that this is very important. I think everyone needs to be on the same page about how we handle discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. My biggest concern of this is that I don't feel safe in my home right now. I've been reporting harassment for 2.5 years since living here, since moving into this place. I've lived in Portland actually since 2019. I lived on East Main Street. I had no complaints from my neighbors on East Main Street. It was only when I moved to Greenbush that I received these complaints. Unfortunately, it appears to be that it is rooted in racism, unfortunately. And that's something that I don't go to very easily because I know that I will get, asked the question, well, how do you know? How do you know it's racist, right? So believe me, when I say that other people have come to me saying, hey, this is what I see, I finally feel comfortable enough to say, hey, this is racist. Last week I read an article where a gentleman, well, not a gentleman, but a man damaged our ring camera on someone's property. And he had a warrant for his arrest. It was publicized. And he was charged with criminal mischief, I believe. I had something similar happen to me on July 13th of this year. A man installing a fence for my neighbors took my property from my property without my permission, said not anymore, threw it on the ground, and damaged my property. Now I can see this in a moment. I saw it on my security cameras because I had to set up security cameras. And even though I had this evidence presented to the Portland City Police, I was only allowed to charge trespass, not criminal mischief, even though the man took my property from my property without my permission with intent and damaged my property. In addition, this man said racist comments while on camera. He said, this is a neighborhood, not a joke. His colleague said, well, there's one here, right? Acknowledging my own home. To me, that was very, very dangerous, given the fact that my neighbors have an order of protection against my partner, who has never been arrested in his life, who has never committed any crimes in his life. Here I am, a resident, a homeowner of Portland, having a man take my property from my property, commit a crime against me. And, I feel unsafe. Is that my 3-minute record?
Yes, it is.
So I really highly urge you guys to please read the email. I would like to solve this for all Portland, not just me. Thank you. Thank you.
Sandra Malloy.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Lloyd. I'm a lifetime resident of Portland and 22 years as a homeowner in the Stewart Place. I and my neighbors have watched the deterioration of homes surrounding us, directly caused by allowing single-family homes that were once beautiful to be overtaken by student housing. With the beginning of each semester, we've all become concerned about the noise, underage drinking, litter-filled lawns, parties that happen sometimes until 4 a.m. And this is every night of the week. There's no night that it does not happen. Yes, young people are spreading their wings. I was young once, believe it or not. But the decline of our neighborhood also devalues our homes. I want to thank, I'm going to say his name out loud, Seth Thompson, my council person, for his immediate response when contacted about out of control parties and violations of our noise ordinance. I'm told that there is a town gown committee that meets monthly, but it is not open to the public to attend or speak at. I don't understand how that can be. Not hearing from neighbors directly impacted by the activity of college housing and spreading blight is not conducive to correcting the problem. Secondly, I want to thank the city PD for their responses when contacted by neighbors to report noise violations. But I think it would be a better use of their time and efforts to prevent the parties. To that end, enforcement is needed. Landlords of the properties must be held responsible for the behaviors of their tenants. Fines must be given, and they must be significant if we are to change the vibrancy of our neighborhoods. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Seth. Thank you to the city police department.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else privilege of the floor? Okay, so we'll on to the receive and file documents. Florida Housing Assistant Council. Update on senior apartments. Motion to receive and file. Back with Mr. Carpenter. So this proposed 53 unit on 30 River Street is for seniors and provide housing options with 60% area median income. And the case management supported housing granted for 12 of the units. So if it's a good project, it's about a $20 million project. And it's currently up for homes that you can see at ACR funding. And it's one of which I was assuming was 2 funds that we were looking to do. But I received an email today, because I told you different today, Jack. The Christopher Community Project, which was working with the YWCA on the entrance gateway entrance project, has been pushed back due to some disclosures on property for possible contaminant, and meaning a tank that they had found inside there. So they're looking at doing some more thorough research on the property before they do it. So they're going to have to do some remediation. So I received that email today at 3:15, and so that's being pushed back. But they're fully intending to submit the funding application in the subsequent round, which is the summer of 2025. So that's not to say that project won't happen or shouldn't happen, but it also takes a little bit of pressure off off of us, particularly because HCR will fund one project in a Buffalo County region. Onondaga County's been stealing all those projects. Certainly, we have 3 projects within our county that all would warrant. One being the Y project, which is pushed off till next year, which would be great. The senior housing project, which is nothing needs. So we're low income senior housing, and then also there's a workforce housing project in Portland. So now we put all of our support towards that one senior housing project, which is the one we're discussing in the Florida Housing Assistant Council senior project on River Street. It's a definite need for our community, and as people get up laterally, you get to afford their properties. This will be a great source for us to do it. So that takes a little bit of pressure off of trying to support 2 projects in our community. That happens, but we're glad to see that Christopher Communities is not walking out on a project. So a couple updates on those. So anybody else have any other questions on updates on that? So, all right, so take a vote here. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and number 2, document to receive and file as environmental advisory committee report for the Millmore Bank. Can I get a motion to receive and file? Mr. Beckwith. Ms. Lane. Again, so there's 160 properties that were registered this year, and according to our code office, Captain Everett, there's a communication needing register to participate and avoid enforcement. Needs to be handled a little bit better. I think we all have mixed emotions on that. I'm sure we'll hear more about that next year. So, but I think overall, I think it's to me, it was a great benefit. Gave me the notice of recognizing when we did a solar project, we set specific plants in there that were common created. So that brought that good attention to me. Not too detailed to not have my grass.
We get enough weeds on freaking foot there, all year long.
Right. Thank you.
But it keeps the clippings off the road.
Right.
Notice-
Or they don't do that either. They go down the storm drain with grow weed and come up with, don't get me going.
So, well, thanks for having us on that one. So, but we will research that and review that. So everybody receiving file, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See. All right, next we have, mayor's report. So real quick, sales tax negotiations went south. I would say back a little bit, and so we had a little step back from where we were. The towns and villages took a little homage to some of it, and the county has rescinded back to maintain this year undetermined, and we'll write a letter back to them to try to get us back and state where we were the year before, at least for a year, till we go back to the drawing board. And so we'll be lobbying all of our electeds from the county to hopefully get that endorsed, supported, to try to get something in a temporary resolve, and we're looking to possible preemption. So those are my courses right now. There will be more to that hopefully by our next meeting, but that was last night. There's still some work to be done there. GIS consolidation, we work together with our DPW and our water and Portlandville and the county and on GIS solutions that make sense for a more countywide approach. So that meeting happened last week. The 9/11 ceremony happened. Mr. Scott discussed that. He covered that for me. Thank you for that. There's a ribbon cutting this Thursday at the high school for the new turf at 6 p.m. If you guys can make it to that, we would appreciate that. River cleanup is the 28th, and pumpkin the Saturday, and Pumpkin Fest is the following 5th and 6th. I think we'll be prior to that. So other than that, we continue on with our construction and continue on with our normal course of business and working towards getting all the other issues resolved. With that, I'll go, unless we have any questions, I'll go to the ward report. Mr. Scott.
Ward 1, Joyce Street. I want to thank DPW for getting right back a hold of me. We had a complaint about some potholes. It's really, I want to investigate. It's just a layer skimmed off. Probably happened last year during plowing season. I've had 2 members of DPW get back a hold of me and been assured it'll be taken care of. I appreciate the quick response. It was really fast. I mean, same day that I called it in. Other than that, the ward itself is fairly quiet. The 9/11 ceremony, absolutely awesome turnout. Great to see, leave 3 branches of military in uniform there. We had all of our local law enforcement. We had lots of local fire departments. We had tons of veterans. It was a great crowd, and I was very, very honored, to be able to take my 90 seconds on stage, which they limited everyone to this year, which actually was a great idea. More people were able to speak. I thought the whole thing was just run very, very well, and that is one day that we must never, ever, ever, ever forget. And I was very proud of you.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan.
I attended the town gown committee meeting, and the rest was fun, and the parking lot was full, and that was good to see. We had a wonderful weekend last weekend. Right, I live right by the college, right by Clayton. It's and it was just, it was phenomenal. We got to sit out on our deck. It was quiet. It was amazing. We had kids. I don't know if landlords are aware that kids now have fire pits on their properties. And so there were some people at a duplex around the fire pit in their backyard, which adjoins our backyard, but they didn't, they weren't playing like music, and we just heard them laughing and having a good time, and it was so pleasant, which is rare, because like Sandra, we have, you know, often complained to this spot, and she will. So that was really pleasant on the Pleasant Street. We are having an issue with parking, the student housing at the end of Pleasant Street at Clayton and Pleasant. There's some people who are just whipping down the wrong way because they don't want to go all the way around the block. And when they leave their properties, they tend to exit there onto Clayton, which is dangerous. We're also having issues with the intersection at Pleasant and Groton. And I shared this with our new head of DPW. I'm hoping that he can either make that traffic light down there a flashing red so that everybody stops and takes turns. Or at the very least, put a stop sign by the barrel furthest uphill on Pleasant, because it's basically a one-lane road, right down by Groton. And people will just pull all the way down to the bottom, making it impossible for people coming up the hill to get past them. So we need to mitigate that. I know it's going to be short-lived. We're almost there and be paved in what, another month, you know, November, we said.
We should be quicker than that. We're hoping to get it done. We're doing some of that pavement. We're boxing out
That's
or by
awesome.
the end of the month.
Yeah, end of the month, so. Anyway, it would be really helpful because at this point, people are just running light. And so they kind of are taking turns, but yeah, it would be good to have more guidance for the traffic. We all got an email from Bruce Adams, head of the wastewater treatment plant, about screening COVID. And it's up again, folks, and we're leaving the state average. He wrote there are 6 kinds of KP. I'm not sure what KP stands for. And then there's LB1 and LP1.
It just means that the virus continues to mutate.
Yeah, it's all happened. Yeah. So some people don't have much of an impact. Others are just really low by it. So just, you know, take what precautions you feel you need to. Let's see. Oh, and the code office took care of a long stretch of sidewalk, the corner property at Homer Ave in Lincoln. And this property owner redid the whole stretch, and it just is smooth as silk now. It was pretty busted up. So that is just wonderful. A pleasure to walk upon it. And that's it from the second one.
Thank you.
Okay, third part. So I just want to piggyback on the mayor's comment about the sales tax meeting last night. Was very disappointing. And not only obviously talking to county legislators, but especially the city legislators who live in the city of Portland and who represent the residents. And they voted for these legislators. So anyway, just couple of things and shout out to DPW. Had a neighbor on Groton Ave end up with a problem a few weeks ago. An Amazon truck ran over the storm drain grate and took it out. And so I said something to Mike, and within 24 hours, he had not only contacted the homeowner, but he had gone to the house and met with the homeowner. So you know, kudos, that really impressed the homeowner who is viewing DPW differently in this case. And, question. And, so if you're coming down Groton Ave toward Graham, there is a no right-hand turn sign onto Otter Creek, right? But if you're coming from Broadway to Otter Creek, it says local traffic only. So I got a call from a resident on Otter Creek wondering if it's one way or should it be. So it is a little confusing that there's no right-hand turn off Groton, but it's, doesn't say one way off. So it's just a question. So.
No, made it one way and they made that turn difficult, so that you couldn't, if you're going east on Groton, you couldn't, make a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
That
Right, yeah, so that, for people who live on Otter,
should be just for Otter Creek,
That's, but that's what it says, it's just local traffic only.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
A lot of
saying,
people
but
think
is it,
local traffic, we're local.
but is it one way for the people who live on Otter Creek? Or are they allowed to go both directions on their street?
Just going on in Pleasant.
I'd say it needs to be one way, get rid of this sign.
And it's just clarification is needed, that's,
Well, so that, I have to look into that particular
Yeah, check out
couple of years
the law.
ago too. It's not, it was never, what was done was never put into law, so the sign, all that kind of stuff. None of that was approved, and done properly. So technically, it's a two-way street,
So we should
trying to limit it to local law.
Hey,
That is
you
on
guys
the-
done tomorrow?
That is on the list, there, to determine what is the best way to take care of it.
Yeah.
Seems to be pleasing itself, that sign has been shut off, nobody even noticed it. Nobody's been complaining, so I don't know, not sure where that originally came from, it's all pre
There was
my
somebody-
time period.
They brought it up here, everybody approved it but I, because I was raising the fact there's gonna be a problem with traffic on Groton Avenue, Townley and Floral. They proved me wrong, which I'll admit, so far they proved me wrong, but maybe because people are still driving up. Right, so we'll leave that there.
Well, thanks for bringing that up.
Well, whether it went any farther, we adopted the law and changed the law in the city charter, so if somebody gets a ticket, it will hold up in court. You know, just,
so
that needs to be
just
done.
clarification.
It's Groton Ave, or,
There's a homeowner said they had people waiting through, they were allowed kids on the street, and they just wanted to make it so that people could not turn from Groton onto Otter Creek and use it as a bypass both directions. And so that's why we did what we
so we'll review that too. That's on the long list. Right, so we're not ready for that. Promise.
So why?
Miss Lane,
Yes. I attended the Town and Gown Committee meeting as well, and I heard from Sandy Malloy, because she wasn't sure was it fifth ward or fourth ward, because we go, one side is fourth, one side is fifth, so thank you for taking care of the fifth ward. And rest of the fourth is quiet.
thank you, Mr. Powell.
A few items, related, one, homeless, individuals, quite a few have been in, a ravine area, starting fires, human feces,
Where?
on the backside of between DPW and the ravine, off the hill between, behind the Jefferson Homes apartments.
That was,
And I will say, between the mayor's office and city police department and others, there's coordinated efforts to have folks removed, posted property markers have been put up by the property owner of that area. But there are still now that folks have been removed from that area, you may have noticed over the last week, a lot more shopping carts moving frequently in court. So we still have a concern problem, the weather's turning, and we have to look at what we're gonna do with it. And, I know there's a committee, and folks are working on that. Related to noise complaints, mostly from Portland State, off-campus housing students. I think we can do more. I think it's not just the landlords. I think it's our students need to be held responsible. I think they're a great partner. And they offer a multitude of opportunities for our residents, for employment, as well as for education. But at the same time, accountability is put in place. And third, over by the high school specifically and up and down Pendleton. We have some, I don't know if everybody else has seen it, but we have a multitude of deer that are outside of the waterworks. They're not, all our deer in Portland are in the waterworks. And we need to look potentially, I think, at some sort of management and calling of our deer population.
Agreed. I'm just gonna jump in here real quick and just on the town gown relation, and this is the way we talked about it, you know, anybody that's on that committee will test that. A lot of our discussion is exactly that, tying in their grades to doing some of that accountability aspect. We're making a lot of progress from when we first started to try to make that happen. Talking about a lot of the communications, working together as a community and bringing it together and keeping the positives positive and keep the negatives to become positives. So that's been the case, and the reason that area isn't open to the public is because we wanted to be able to people to speak freely. So the code office is there, the fire department's there, the police department's there, all the players at the college, and the idea is to talk about communications with landlords and holding students accountable for their aspect, as well as the accountability aspect for police, fire, and school. So it's really gone a long ways, and I think certainly we have nowhere to go because we're seeing some of those. But we have police department has put together party cars now, and we have party cars going around. And the closure of some of the underage bars created more parties in the housing, and that's been an active areas and concerns. And this year is a new year, so the new areas of our WEGO 15 or WEGO seems to be a hot spot. So we're on top of that, and we are citing. We'll go through and cite every person in the property, and then they're also will be held in court with Mr. Meldon through the college and back to the college and held back, and they get a list every Monday morning of who was arrested from the campus. So we are working on that, and obviously we have ways to go, and we'll always that is
Mayor,
definitely
can I
something
ask?
we should.
So two things. One, I'm thinking, I understand why we don't open that meeting up to the public in general, because it could just become very big and we wouldn't necessarily accomplish much. But we could, as we have from time to time and had guests, we could invite another councilman over. Sometimes I feel like the lone voice bringing up the negatives. And I think it would be helpful to hear from another council member who's having that issue in their work. But I would like to say that the person who is kind of the coordinator of the committee did mention last time that previously a fine would go to the household. And she heard that students were, okay, you do it this time, I'll do it next time. And so one of the things that we came up with, the mayor was alluding to, is that from now on, everybody associated with that house gets a ticket. And if they were out of town, they need to put pressure on their peers, not, act up in their absence, because they're just going to keep getting tickets.
Yeah, and they would say, oh, I wasn't even there.
Right, too bad.
Sorry, you're still getting one. Is there a reason the campus police, once we know that it's a college housing. Is there a reason the campus police can't respond?
It's not their jurisdiction. We had a recent case where we pulled down the campus police to identify people, to help identify a situation, but it's not in their jurisdiction, so they would have no, unless we deputize who did it, but I think that part of it we're handling okay, but they do help, they have to come down and help identify people when they finally surrender once that happens. But that's, you know, we have great cooperation between agencies, and I think it's all going into a positive direction. But to go to Seth's point, we can do better, and we are working on doing better, and we'll continue to get better. And, you know, certainly invite anybody here that wants
They
to.
have a federal responsibility to report back major concerns and issues.
And they're aware, and we're doing everything we can to try to keep, number one, everybody safe, and number two, quality of life to be at its maximum. All right, so, Mr. Carpenter.
I'll quiet the sixth ward, getting to those noise violations, working at Cornell, I know IPD, they give the house a fine, $250 fine, and every time they go back, it goes. So that, it's an every day, but get a hold of that house. They go back the second time, it's about 7:50. And it really reduces, I believe, the calls.
Are they doing off of decibels or?
Or just a call to the noise. Yeah, so. I think it does work.
Thank you.
I personally, I like not doing decibels because people will crank up, crank it down, and the way we've always had it is that it doesn't matter if it's, 10 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning. If I'm making too much noise and it's bothering you, it's impinging on you enjoying more. Like, it's too much.
Yeah, we actually reviewed that the other day, discussion was talking about that. Sometimes I think our law is vague enough to say, if I can't enjoy my property with peace, that's enough,
Yeah.
right? And if
Exactly.
you get too complicated, you're overcomplicated, so that's kind of where we. Respect.
Just real quick, I'll find this seventh ward, just wanted to comment on Katie about the COVID, not to scare everybody. Bruce, correct me if I'm wrong anytime. As they brought up in the past, we have 4 municipalities that use our sewer. So, we're testing a lot of sewage. And we have a lot of traffic that comes through Coral. If you've been down to Riverside Plaza any given time on the weekend or the last week, there's buses in there galore. College has been back, the sports complex is doing great, hotels are mad, I hear it all the time, even when I'm out of town and working, how can I get it today, I heard from my doctor, how can I get a hotel in Portland? You know what I mean, so just, I'm not saying there might not be a local spike, but we have a lot of people that use our.
But it's
Shit, down.
but it's here.
It's the-
Very well could be, you don't know, that's what I said, I said that way at the beginning, when we spend $400 and some to do this, okay, we're gonna do, it's expensive.
I work in a local school, it's going.
Yeah, and the hospitals.
But I just, I know it's still going on, it's never gonna go away. Our spike could be really high. The amount of traffic.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to keep this on positive, Mr. Michaels.
I'll go before we do.
I also sit on the,
Take your pulse.
I just wanna point out that it's one of the most rounded committees I've ever sat regarding people involved in making decisions. Katie certainly, as well as Pat, made the emphasis that everything that comes through this committee is addressed and is not left not addressed. So that being said, there's also, we've noticed that fire access has been working their way through our neighborhoods regarding fiber optic connection. They're a competitor with Spectrum. I've had a lengthy conversation with their sales representative regarding customer service, and as of right now, they don't have a number to provide it, but that's something to certainly consider in the future. I think they have a ways to go yet, but it's certainly something to consider. I guess that some people have been signing up for this service. I'd be interested to hear from them how it's working out. Certainly get a hold of, my phone contact information through City Hall. And I'd certainly like to hear from them to see how, this service is, affecting them and go from there. And, that's all I have, for the eighth ward.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When will the nets come down on the, court?
Pickleball court?
Yeah.
When the weather gets to
You listening?
snow.
You listening?
We've had some.
We got time.
We got time.
We'll get about a month.
Just make sure that all your it's down at this point.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Approval of minutes. Does anybody have a chance to review the meeting? Mr. Beckwith?
I'll second.
Carpenter? And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution, agenda item number 1. Confirm mayor's appointment of Jacob Van Gorder as a member of the zoning board of appeals.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby confirm the appointment of Jacob Van Gorder to the zoning board of appeals for a term of office expiring December 31st, 2020.
Get a motion? Carpenter and Stone. So, Mr. Van Gorder graduated from Alfred State with a mechanical engineering degree, and he's currently working with DCA Architects and Engineering doing HVAC design system for industrial and commercial projects. So I think it's great to have somebody involved with that board that understands how to read blueprints and plans. We got some good people there, and it'd be great to get somebody.
Came back. I think he's awful. Good.
I was gonna say something else.
He's a great young man, and I think you had him too, so I you coach him at some point. I'm sure. So, yeah, so anybody else? Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 2, set public hearing for proposed local law making clarifications relating to the city's waste and recycling collection program.
Resolved that pursuant to section 20 of the municipal home rule law of the state of New York, public hearing on a proposed local law to amend the city's administrative code relating to the collection of refuse, recyclables, and other waste materials shall be held at 6 p.m. on October 1st, 2024 at City Hall, 25 4th Street, Portland, New York, and that the city clerk shall publish notice of such hearing in the official newspaper of the city.
Motion, Mr. Scott. Carpenter. So, this is, to address the containers and some of the other issues that we have with the trash program. So
October 1st.
October 1st of next week. So it'll start with a public hearing in the next, we always like to do that ahead. Anybody else? Can you move it, please?
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, sidewalk program conflict of interest disclosure.
Resolved that it's hereby disclosed to the common council and the public that Nectil Nagel has having ties to the city of Portland has submitted an application for funding through the city sidewalk program. And be it further resolved that the common council, upon the opinion of council letter, concurs that her participation does not violate city or state law, and that said applications may be accepted pursuant to established policies.
Mr. Thompson, Mr. Scott. So Toma Development, who's our consultants, who administers our sidewalk program, has advised me to discuss the following 3 items. Ms. Nagel has been pre-qualified for participation in the city sidewalks replacement program. Ms. Nagel serves on the city landscape and design committee. Since Ms. Nagel has ties to the city, one of the requirements of the program is for their participation to be openly disclosed. This discussion represents the required disclosure. Anyone who has any questions or objections is asked to contact Toma Development Consultants and bring it up right now. So we want to make sure that everybody is aware that She is on a committee, not that that's a high paying committee, there would be anything to do that. This is not in any way compensation for anybody being on a committee. But we just want to make sure everybody's disposed of that, as we always do. Does anybody have any questions for that? Move it, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 4, authorize agreement with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for the Maple Ave Culvert Upgrade Project.
Resolved that the common council does hereby authorize Mayor Steve to execute an agreement having reviewed by the New York State Department of Transportation with Hunt Engineers, Architects, Landscape Surveyors, and Landscape Architect in an amount of $250,000 for planning and design services to support upgrades to the Maple Avenue Culvert project.
I'll move it.
Second.
Mr. Scott, again, this is a project we approved earlier. This is the grant we got from Homeland Security for a federal grant to, for over $2 million project to fix the Maple Ave culvert. So the idea would be to get the engineer designing plans out, get a bid on, and start construction next spring. Any questions? Over, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Okay, so as on the other items on the public comments, my door is always open, and we're always willing to have those discussions, any discussions that would need to be regarding any kind of proprieties that may be done by anybody in this city government, whether it's in this board or within the departments thereof. We're always open to that. We discussed the town gown committees on why that wouldn't be appropriate. Although we certainly want everybody's input and certainly would take those comments and conversations. And we'll continue to deal with the those areas that are highly trafficked and continue to be proactive with the police department and their party car, which we have added more on. Certainly be added more advice on those during the week. You know, we spend a lot of emphasis Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll make sure we're on top of it the rest of the week, as you indicated. And Ms. Lane and Mr. Thompson did bring up that particular address at 15 Ozone as being that problem area. So we'll keep an eye on that one, as well as the many up on the hill, and hopefully you can have a nice weekend like this. So that it's we will adjust on this one. With that, if anybody else has any other comments or discussions, I appreciate your conversations on some of this other stuff. I have those open dialogues. With that said, I'll take a motion for adjournment. Mr. Beckwith and Ms. Sullivan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Stuck here as a cookies on the right.